caster, and I didn't even realize there was a 6th at first. I saw 5 fire, and I guess you had 1 arcane as well.
One arcane.
I was like, what is this?
So we killed the Lich King without a tank from the first transition. Because we literally transition, we was on, obviously, on the edge. Like, first transition happened and we were on the ledge. The mages, we're stood at that little safe spot, where you're inside but you're not taking damage. And we nuked the boss during that phase into its next transition. So the tank and everybody that was stood on the platform disappeared and then reappeared because we went from one transition to the next really quick. And then we nuked the boss before he could even move. It was hilarious. Hi, everyone.
That's awesome. Like, I figured that's what you guys were trying to do. Like, just completely cheese the hell out of the mage's damage right now.
Oh, out of everything. And guys, just in chat, sorry, we did start mid-conversation, but we done a 10-man ICC heroic earlier, and we took 5 fire mages and an arcane mage, an Ellie shaman, an unholy DK, 1 holy paladin, and a blood DK. So we had all the buffs for the mages, and 1 healer and 1 tank. But I mean, some of the bosses, it was just hilarious just watching them. As in, like, Death Whisper died before she could spawn. Like, we got that first set of ads, which just all got just absolutely destroyed. And then she died pretty much before she even moved or done a great deal at all. Rot face melted. Fester we only got 1 spore, and it was dead. Putricide didn't leave the table. Literally, it was just he was there and then he was gone. It was just hilarious. Like, it was the most enjoyable 10-man I've done. It's just a shame that it's gonna be the last one now.
Oh yeah, can mages still hit Cindy while she's in air phase or no?
Oh, we killed Syndra Ghost before she went up.
Just before she went up?
Yeah,
she went up at like 60%.
No, she never left the floor. No.
Ah, nice.
But we was getting loads of like really like cheesy achievements. So like on Lich King, we got the achievement for killing all vile spirits, but there were no vile spirits because it never left the middle of the room to be able to spawn any.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Anyway, Go, would you like to welcome everybody?
Yes, welcome everybody. You're doing Kick tonight as well, I assume. So everybody on Kick, welcome. YouTube, how you guys doing? Table, returning guest, a guest that I reached out to because you have, I think, a very interesting perspective right now in Classic WoW because you're playing Season of Discovery, you're rating every week on that, and you're also rating every single week still in Wrath in the pre-patch, and you're going to be doing both at the same time coming up here after Cata launches. So glad to have you back here, brother.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me. Always fun chatting with the boys.
And I assume you're doing Feral still on both, right? Or are you doing a little Resto still on Sod? Or
no, I'm doing Feral still on both. It's like, I don't know, phase 3 is kind of weird for Feral, for Sod, because it's either you take the spec that's good for the whole raid, or you take the spec that's good for yourself. And I went with the spec that's good for the raid. So it's basically I'm waiting until level 60 until I can like actually start caring about the amount of damage I'm doing and how I'm parsing.
How's your pre-patch prep been going? Have you been able to have time to get everything ready for launch, or are you still trying to like figure out the balance between doing both?
Not really. Like there's been other stuff going on too, so I haven't had as much time to do like pre-questing and things like that. I haven't even really leveled. There's a troll druid that I started to level to be my second character. I'm going to turn my second, what has been my feral alt for Wrath, I'm going to turn that into a farm character, and I'm leveling a fresh troll druid to be my raid alt, or at least one of my raid alts. Like, I don't know how many I'm going to have, but we'll see. And he's like still level 6 or something. Like, I barely put any time into him. I played like the night that pre-patch launched, and I basically haven't touched him since then.
The night that you whispered me, or like, bro, you misspelled Berserk.
Yeah, and then that character is probably max now, right?
Oh yeah, that's been my main since then. Yeah, like I leveled it up by Friday after the Tuesday pre-patch launch. Friday I was 80, I was 260 eye level with PvP gear for most of it, but yeah, I went hard on my troll druid.
Hard on.
Hard on. Oh,
Yeah,
well,
I got to get on it.
yeah, you've not been on a great deal, Table. I'm surprised. I thought when pre-patch it, I thought you'd have been all over everything. I mean, you've been obviously doing all the beta raids with us, which we're gonna obviously touch on soon. And I think we should probably go over our plans for launch as well. That'll be an interesting one. I'm not going to give mine away too much, but I might touch on it, mainly because what I'm going to do, I don't want to get fixed. But so I'll talk about it on the 21st. Maybe just not too much tonight. But yeah, what are we going to cover today? So, mate, I've got so many windows open. I was really not prepared. So, as normal, you know, we're going to go over, we'll do a little intro, we'll go over any news, which Go's already laid out, like the main news we're going to talk about. There's been some interviews, which you may or may not have seen. There's been 3 in total. I only thought there was 2, but Go actually found a 3rd one today. We'll put links to all of those in the description, so you can go and check them out and show your support. So we'll talk about, like, the highlights, you know, what we personally think came out of that. Or out of those. A little bit about the beta raids. We'll touch on the beta raids purely because, yeah, well, more so than the beta raids, I just want to have a bit of a discussion around pre-nerf and post-nerf, because there is a lot of people crying after these interviews, like, oh my god, what a big foul from Blizzard, like doing not doing pre-nerf. So I want to talk about the difficulty and actually be really honest about it, because I've got probably a bit of a weird take, which, yeah, we can get into that anyway. And then anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah, I'm so glad that they have added finally the in-game store and expanded it to include pets. I don't know if pets are in there yet, but mounts. I'm incredibly excited for that. There's not transmogs in there yet, but I'm sure they're going to be in there. I'm going to buy them all up and feed the store.
Do you mean those mounts and pets and toys that were limited time because you had to get the digital deluxe editions? Oh, those ones you're talking about.
I can get them now, so it's perfect. I didn't have to have the initial time and pay extra money to have other stuff included. I can just get the pets now. It's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm assuming they're all really cheap as well. So
yeah, they're like $35-$40 each.
Buy them all.
Yeah.
Oh, you probably already bought them all on multiple accounts, I'm guessing.
No, I think they're really like $10-$15, something like that.
Yeah, I hope they had in the arc. I hope they had Zinrock and the staff, on the store. And I'll be honest with you.
Just the transmog version of it, not the actual item.
No, I want the actual item and they can charge me what they want. All right, cool. Well, let's crack on. I mean, you want to touch on that? We might as well just we can go straight in with the news. Unless you want to, do we want to catch up with Table a bit? I mean, I've been talking to him every night since the beta raids open, so I'm all tabled out really. But if you want to ask him anything,
I went right into catching up to him there when I was doing a little intro,
so we're done.
And I was just like, well, I mean, I could expand more, but I mean, I was like, oh wait, I got to stop myself. Like I'm sitting here kind of interviewing Table, so.
Yeah, he's been on here enough times. He's part of the furniture now.
Furniture. I mean, table.
Yeah. No, it's fat though. It's fat. But thank you, mate. Thanks for noticing that I've been working out, and I'm not even drinking alcohol. I'm drinking coffee. I haven't had a drop of alcohol since the stream meet up on Saturday. So all right, it's not that long, but that's a long time for me.
Well, you've been working lots of snacks out of their wrappers.
Yeah, and walking backwards and forwards to the fridge to get beer instead of putting an 8-pack on the desk. Yeah. I make myself walk for them.
Well, I pinned a message there because I think it's kind of interesting. Morton said that they're on 300 trolls and 150 dwarfs, and I think they're probably also doing archaeology.
We are all digging as well, by the way.
I think Table got that.
I weren't really listening. I was reading, saying, "What are we doing here? Go dig." I am digging. I won't stop digging. I don't stop digging for no man. All right, come on, do the news. Go.
The news. I think that the main one is the release is 3 days, 22 hours, 17 minutes away for Cataclysm Classic. The raids are going to be a little bit delayed, and they're going to be released on May 28th. And then I
30th.
assume
30th.
May 30th. What did I? Oh, the PvP season. Sorry, PvP season is the 28th. Raids are the 30th, and it wasn't officially announced the date for Buried and Hold. It's at sometime after the raids launched, but I would assume those are going to come out the following reset on June 4th.
Would make sense.
And it's kind of weird to me that this time, like the launch is on a Monday. Was Wrath launch on a Monday?
I thought it was a Thursday.
That's what I thought too. But like, I mean,
can't
either way,
remember.
like the raids opening on Thursday, it kind of tracks with what we've been seeing for the rest of Classic so far.
Yeah, maybe
PvP
it did
season
launch on a Monday.
Tuesday. That's just with reset.
Yeah, I don't
I
remember.
couldn't remember.
I mean, we could quite
so
easily. There's a website that we could look at to find that out. You just type in your questions.
Yeah, but I can't read, so.
There were some bug fixes. Were there any major bug fixes you wanted to point out, Scotty?
No, they fixed Flame Orb. There's more bug fixes that are going to be making their way to live that are currently fixed on the beta, though, so that's good. So if you've still got anything wrong with your classes, there is a good chance if you go on the beta, they might be working. But no, I mean, the main one for me is what we will mention during the interview section anyway, but we might as well briefly at least just touch on it, is the fact that Dark Moon Fair is going to be coming out on the 26th, so 6 days after launch and 4 days before the raids open. And we'll talk a little bit during the interview bit about why that's important, but I'm sure many of you can already guess why it's important, but there are actually more reasons than what you're thinking.
There was the Cataclysm launch test is going to be tomorrow. I didn't prep you with this one, Scotty. I don't know if you've seen this article. It's on Warcraft Tavern, but the article says, please join us on Cataclysm Public Test Realm PTR for our launch test tomorrow, May 17th at 2300 CEST. At that time, the PTR will step forward from pre-patch content to the deployment of the full Cataclysm expansion. The PTR is named, I had to laugh at this, Public Test Realm, in parentheses, Wrath Classic, in your launcher. We'll see you there. So
it's going to be almost like a beta. Yeah, I mean, you can do some 80 to 85.
Yeah, I would assume all bug fixes that we would expect to be finished with would be on the PTR tomorrow.
Okay, that's interesting. No, I didn't. That's the first I've heard about that.
Yeah, it didn't show up in your little timeline. It showed up on the Druid Discord. They have like a little tracker on there, so that's where I saw that from. But
what it seems like to me is that, like, so the first round of beta was just leveling to 85, and then they did the next round of beta, which is the raid stuff. So what it seems to me is like this PTR stuff, the stuff that's going up on the PTR, is the stuff that they tested and fixed from that first round of beta, and then they're probably going to do another PTR, I don't know, at some point between, tomorrow and when the raids launch, and that second PTR will be the raid content at 85. That's kind of what it seems like to me anyway.
I don't remember them doing anything like this with Wrath.
They did a stress. Well,
yeah, it may be
they call it a stress test, but they did it for like Winter Grasp. I don't know if they really did one for the launch, but I think that aren't they supposed to have the tech from SOD, like the increased capacity for realms for like Cata now? So maybe that's what it is. It's to see and make sure that there's no issues with that.
Yeah, well, we'll log on there tomorrow, I suppose, and find out, see what it's about. Did you have any other news?
Yeah. The Brawl with the Blues was a week ago, I think, today. And
you love that.
I love things being blue. I logged on, especially Table's shirt, but and Scotty's shirt and my shirt. We're all wearing blue, and we're not Alliance either. We're all Horde. But no, I logged on there at work because it was at 4:00 my time, and I didn't get off until 6. So I hopped on there on my laggy hotspot on my laptop, and it was supposed to be 80 versus 80 for Tolbarad, and it was about 15 versus 25 ish on like the 2 matches that I joined in, and Alliance just stomped. There's no tenacity buff like there is in Winter Grasp, so like us on the smaller team, we had no help to try to defend or attack the Alliance, they just stomped us, and it was fairly short matches. And I don't know how that's going to work when it goes live. I don't know how much information they really gathered from that test, but I hope it was. I hope they got something out of it.
But the problem is they're like, they've kind of shot themselves in the foot with all of these, like, Battle with the Blues and, like, you know, even the RBG ones. You know, obviously we was lucky we got in a group, you know, against the devs. But, like, doing it on the beta rather than it being something that just everybody can join in on is kind of, like, ridiculous. Because most people are interested, like, the people who get on the beta, most of them are interested in finding efficient ways to level and trying to find things that they can exploit. And, you know, they're not like, oh, I really want to test this and make sure it works. You know, I know some do, don't get me wrong. But whereas, like, if you open it up to the PT, just put it on a PTR, you know, it was just a weekend here, like, anyone can go on it. I think that have got a lot more people, you know, going, oh, I'll go and give it a crack. But when they've, like, sort of, even the raid testing, like, I don't really agree with when there's only 2 raid tests having it on the beta. I think it should just be open to everyone, especially with, I know people that are Subtle, as an example. I don't think he's still on the beta even now. You know, you got people that actually, you know, they actually want to test the content, and you know, there'll be plenty of people that haven't got access to the beta. So yeah, those things for me, if they want to get, like, a large amount of people testing it for free, it needs to be banged on somewhere public, don't it?
I mean, even just doing Wintergrasp in the pre-patch, it's still buggy as hell. You join the match, and then you spawn in on the opposing faction's spawn point, and then your health gets reduced down to 1, and then it teleports you to where you're supposed to actually be, and, like, you don't actually die, but then you have all these debuffs, and then it's a weird, buggy mess still for Wintergrasp. So
that's been, like, how it is pretty much all rat, though, too.
Yeah. Like,
which
is
is
that
like
what
the
we
point,
expect
right?
for Tolbarad too? Like, is Tolbarad gonna have the same issues? Like, it's Wintergrasp is still laggy as shit. It's Wintergrasp is 120 versus 120, so we're gonna reduce that down to at least 80 versus 80. So hopefully that helps. But dude, yeah, Wintergrasp still.
That's the thing that I'm worried about with Tolbarad is, like, there's a couple of like, rep rewards from the Tolbarad faction that are, like, really good. Like, for Feral specifically, the trinket from the Tolbarad faction Exalted is better than, or at best, it's a side grade to the 272 trinkets from the tier 11 content. Like, it's such a strong trinket. So if Tolbarad is broken and you can't do it, then, like, that cuts the amount of dailies that you can do in half and makes it take way longer to get to Exalted and takes longer to get your trinket. So, like, that's what I'm worried about.
And then they also had, like, a blue post, I think it was today or yesterday, about Tolbarad, and it was saying how.
Is he listening to Jesus or something? What?
I was just presented with a cat. And I lost my train of thought. I saw a big fuzzy ball next to me. Sorry.
You were saying about the blue post and Tolbarad.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
No. Is it gonna work the same way, or is it gonna be each realm has its own, like, faction versus faction, and it's only gonna be 80 versus 80 from each realm? Because it wasn't clear at all, as with most of the announcements for Cataclysm. It didn't seem like it was gonna work the way Wintergrasp does. I hope it does. I assume it does.
Yeah, I'd imagine it will.
The blue post was just like, yeah, 80 versus 80. The winning faction is going to have access to the island, so I hope your faction wins.
Yeah, and I'd imagine it will have the same tech as Wintergrasp. It would be stupid not to. I'll tell you something that I found really annoying, and don't get me wrong, this could either be a bug now, or it could be something that's happened all along, and, like, we all know, I've not really done a great deal of PvP during Wrath. I've done more PvP during the pre-patch, you know, getting ready for Cata, where I will be doing a lot of PvP. But when you're doing AV, so I've been doing AV for the rep, when you get, like, I'm Horde, obviously, as you know, when I get put in as Alliance, if we win, I get no rep.
I haven't been put in as Alliance in AV.
I have. And I tell you something that's even more scuffed. When you get put in as Alliance, if you've got the Frostwolf trinket, or whatever it's called, you can teleport straight to their base. Because technically it's your base.
I've been playing a lot of AV in the pre-patch, and I haven't had that once. I haven't been Alliance one time.
I had
It's always put me as Horde.
three back-to-back games where I was Alliance. We won all three, and I got a 0 rep from any of them.
That's weird.
That's pretty shit.
It's very shit, but it's also hilarious just watching, half of the team just instantly teleport to the boss. So yeah, gotta throw that in. Something I hadn't seen or heard about. All right,
Well,
you done with the news?
Yeah, do you want to move on to the interviews? I've got a quick story before we do, but it should lead us right into it.
Well, no, let's do the Discord. Let's do the Discord questions
the Discord
first.
Messages.
Yeah.
So there's a section in Scotty's Discord under the social media and streams section for podcast questions. And if you post a question right now, we're not going to get to it. We can get to it on Saturday is our next show that we have planned. So it's not like I'm just going to go on there right now. These are from the previous week since the last podcast. And there's a couple here. And one was from Habits. And they asked, with the increased cadence and lack thereof of content in the pre-patch, would you think that Blizzard may add BLP, which is bad luck protection, to archaeology? So they kind of address this in the interview. So we can save that answer if you want to, Scotty, for that. Or we can go ahead and address it now.
I think we should address it partly now, and then I want to talk about that a little bit more. Yeah, maybe even during the raid section, it might fit better. But yeah, I mean, no, they've said that they don't plan on doing anything in terms of bad luck protection. Certainly not before launch.
I think they said like after the raids are open, and that sparked some response saying like, well, at that point it's too late. Like, why even do it at that point?
I honestly don't think they will. They won't do it. Full stop. Like, I really don't think they'll add anything. And the reason for it, which I know, like, it's part of, you're looking at your gear and you're looking at Zimrock and saying, oh, it's pre-raid bis, but it ties in. So if we was getting pre-nerf raids, I would say adding bad luck protection would be very, very, very valuable. But at the same time, when you go in BWD, even if you're doing normal, the first boss you're going to kill is Magmor. He drops a two-handed mace. You're going to kill Nerf very easily on normal, drops Ash Candy. You're going to kill Cho'Gall, drops a two-handed axe. It's like literally with no Zimrock, you've got multiple bosses that drop two-handed weapons, which you're probably, odds are one of them's going to drop. So even just doing normal bosses, you're going to get something fairly equivalent. But with the fact that we're in post-nerf raids, going in and doing Heroic Magmor, trust me, this is not someone who's lazy. I'm digging right now. I've got 1.4k solves, over that now, 1452 on my Paladin, and I've maxed Archaeology on 3 more characters. So I've got 4 maxed Archaeologists, over 1.4k solves on one of them, and then a couple of hundred solves on each of the others, because I was just not even a couple of hundred, maybe 70 or something, because I was just doing it to get the first 3 couple of, chances at rares. And I'm going to be livid if I get Zimrock in the next couple of days, and then we walk in, kill Magmor, and the two-handed mace drops. Like, I will literally be livid, because Zimrock's going to be replaced within 5 minutes of raiding. So, I mean, you want Zimrock for passes in the first week, but like you're not gonna pass. You're not gonna pass. You're not gonna pass in the first week. But it's 346 versus 359. Like, yes, it's gonna help a little bit, but if you're like, if somebody walks in and gets the 372 weapon from Magmor, then you and your Zimrock ain't going to be passing. The people who are passing are going to be the people that got their 372 weapon early. So, it's, even for passes, I don't see it as being important. I just, like, what you do with your time is up to you. What I do with my time is up to me. I'm spending a lot of time digging because, yes, I want to go in with the best possible gear. But if you're not enjoying archaeology and it really feels like it's ruining, it's just ruining your experience of the pre-patch so far, then I would say don't do it, and don't worry. You're not gonna be at such a disadvantage that it's gonna matter. Like after 1 week, let's say 2 weeks tops, it's like forgotten about.
So
You know how it's going to work, though. This is how it works with everything. All the people that farmed their asses off for a Zenrock are going to get a better weapon the first time they set foot in the raid, and everybody who didn't is going to wait like 5 weeks before they get a weapon. That's always how it works.
Or you've got a loot council guild where, the people who have farmed Zimrock are now at a disadvantage because the person with a 346 who has been trying to farm it but not got it will instantly get prio on the first two-handed weapon that drops. So there's that as well.
I've got 420 total solves, and I
Nice.
just broke. I just solved one just so I could say that, and then I've got only 101 fossil, which is what I need for the staff, and I still haven't got it yet. So I've been doing a little bit. I haven't been like spending hours and hours on end. It's just kind of like while I'm at work, I hop on the laptop. If I can fly around, do a couple dig sites, then I'm happy with that. If I get it, I want to get it. Like I want to have that as part of my pre-raid set, but there's even more archaeology items after launch. And I'm like, well, I've only got 10 days to get those. So it's like, maybe that's going to be my time to really min-max archaeologies after launch. After I hit 85, I got to get my reps in order. And then it's just like archaeology nonstop, and then hope for the best. But Table, have you been doing any archaeology? Because I think Feral doesn't really have anything right now to really go for, but is that on your radar at all?
Just for fun. I got like the
Did you just say the F word?
Yeah, sorry. My bad. Sorry, demonetized. I've gotten the fossilized hatchling, the little cute little raptor, bone raptor. So I've gotten that. And I've gotten like a couple like the toys, like the night elf things and stuff. Like I've just been doing it for fun. Like, I mean, I would like the fossilized raptor mount. Like that's cool. That's like probably the main reason why I would be doing it, is to get that. But just kind of just for fun. It's like just another little completionist activity. Like I'm not like hard focusing it or like, giga farming or anything like that. It's just a little side activity.
Oh, and I might have misspoke. I have dwarf and fossil, like over 100. Sorry, but did you at least max it out? Like your 420 or 475? Is that what it is? 450? 450.
It's not fully maxed yet. I've pretty much only been on Kalimdor. Like I've just been flying around Kalimdor, just kind of leveling it pretty much. Like it's not maxed yet or anything like that. But gone to Ungoro for some of the fossil ones. Just haven't even gotten any dwarf dig sites yet at all. It's literally just been Night Elf, Troll, and Fossil. That's the only ones I've gotten so far.
I think I've unlocked an epic from Night Elf, but I don't know what it is. I have something that takes 150 things to solve it, but it's just off my radar. I have no idea what I'm going to unlock when I get it, but I don't really get that many Night Elf on Eastern Kingdoms, so it might be a couple days until I figure out what that is.
You're making me feel so sad. I mean, I've got every Vrykul rare, so epic and rare. Yeah, I've got every. We'll just say all of them are rares. I've got every Vrykul rare, every troll rare except for the one I want, which is obviously Zimrock. Every orc rare, which is only one anyway. All the Nerubian rares, which I mean, Nerubian. The amount of dig sites there are in Eastern Kingdoms is only like 2 or 3 possible locations for Nerubian, and I've got both of those. I've got every Night Elf rare except for Tyran's favourite doll. Yep, I've got that. Every fossil rare, including the shield, which I got today. So I have at least had one 359 item, except for the Pterodax hatchling, obviously. Every Draenei rare, and every dwarf rare other than the staff. So literally every single rare except the 3 that I want. The trinket, the staff, and the sword.
What's the add-on that shows you? It has like a little
minimal
nice thing
archaeology.
that shows you. Okay, because I need to get that so I can see which I'm still missing, and then I'll just get rid of the add-on again. But let me see what the Night Elf one is. Somebody said it's the trinket. It says Bones of Transformation.
Hey, it's funny that shield is pretty easy to get. Everybody's like, oh, I got the shield. You know, like you're right. Like everybody seems to be getting the shield. It took me 1.4k
I've got
souls
it.
to get the shield. Like,
Yeah,
literally,
that's the
I
epic
only
I've
got
got.
it today, and I've been digging since launch. Well, that's a lie. I've been digging since 4 days after pre-patch launched. But it's just RNG, and that's what I mean when I'm saying like I don't think it needs bad luck protection. You know, this is not like a casual person who's done 20 solves and gone, man, this is boring. It's just it's gonna last. Like, it is great for alts. Someone said earlier, apologies, I didn't really read the name, but someone did say like it's a great they're great items for alts, and that's really what they're. Someone said earlier is genuinely true, that there's like your raid leader is not taking you to a raid without the archaeology weapons. Then I'd be honest with you, we wouldn't have a raid team because our guild has had the worst luck you can possibly imagine. I think the only person that I know in the guild that's got Zimrock is a prop paladin. The actual two-handed users that want it haven't got it, myself included. And we've been doing a lot of digging.
Yeah, looks like there was a little issue there. The stream buffered, and now some people are saying no sound, froze again.
All looks all right on my end.
I saw it buffer for a second. I haven't listened to the sound, but
Yeah, I saw a black screen for a couple seconds.
I think we should be back.
Yeah, everything good?
Yeah. So the next question was from Donut, and it's one that I think I know the answer to, and Scotty would probably know better than me. But Donut asked, when are you able to buy justice points with honor? And I think that's once the PvP season starts. So it's not going to be right at launch, but it's going to be like whatever it was, the 28th when the PvP season starts. I would imagine that's when that opens up.
Well, it wasn't actually added until
4.1.
4.1. Yeah, I mean, it was
somebody said, yeah,
it was a little bit after launch. Obviously, it weren't quite Firelands or anything. It would have been when the Zolgarab and Zolaman dungeons opened. But I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't have that in at launch. But unless that's the only way that they can see to counter the whole Wintergrass commendations without upsetting people too much, which that doesn't bother me because my intention with the Wintergrass commendations was to buy PvP gear with them anyway. So, it doesn't actually matter. But that's the only reason I could think that they'll just leave it out just for the first phase purely because of that. But then, I don't know. I'm surprised it's not there. Look, we'll look on the PTR tomorrow.
True. Have you farmed or capped your honor and justice points table, or you haven't bothered with that?
Nah, not yet. I mean, there's some stuff that I'm gonna do. I'm probably not gonna be able to cap everything. I'm like, I don't know, like a quarter to a third of the way to the cap on justice. Or but not honor. I haven't done any PvP at all.
PvP's been fun, dude. I've been doing.
I feel like I've been slacking, to be honest. Like, I just haven't been on the game. Like, I haven't had the time to actually get on the game.
If you do try to get some honor, do Wintergrasp, get the weekly quests, and it's like 2,000. You do one Wintergrasp, get all quests done, and it's like 2,000 honor. It's crazy.
There's some of those quests that you can do like when Wintergrasp isn't even going on, like would get the arrows or whatever, like the armor scraps, like that type of shit, and probably not necessarily have to wait for a Wintergrasp to pop up for me to be able to do some of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're quest stacking there and you haven't done it already, you're like AVs. It's pretty quick because it's like you don't get mass amounts, like maybe 70-ish on a win, so it's not a lot. But if you're getting the rep to get to Exalted for your quest standings, when Cata actually goes live, you'd cap just doing that anyway.
We had a couple turtles last night in AV, and it was amazing because it's been like the 5-6 minute just rush to the boss, kill it, smash it, move on. But there was a couple turtles, and it was like 20-25 minute matches. And there's another one, Stream Crash.
I like everything. My end looks absolutely fine. I don't get it. Yeah, I'm not getting drop frames. It's steady upload speed and everything.
I don't know, because that one was on YouTube. Like, it was Kick. A lot of people were saying it on first, but now stream over, get to digging. Uh-oh. I see it too. Like, I see it live.
Yeah, I see no issues with it whatsoever. Yeah, it crashed 4 times. But that's, I mean, that's bizarre. Yeah, as I say, I don't actually see anything wrong with it.
Just blame me.
There's no L in my name on the restream, the social thing. It's just Cassock. I'm now Cassock Go.
Nice.
I think we're good though. I think we're fine. So yeah, that was from Donut. Let me see here. We got the next one, and the last one from the questions was from Lil Klein, and they asked a low prio question: breadcrumb quests becoming unattainable if you complete the next step is horrible for completionists. Can they remove those arbitrary restrictions on them, plus the level required on low-level board breadcrumbs? And I didn't really know what was going on with that. Like, I kind of know what they're talking about, like the breadcrumb quest from the board in the major cities to lead you into the zones. I think you can go to the zones and kind of skip those breadcrumb quests, but I thought
because there's breadcrumbs from zone to zone as well. So if you do one of those breadcrumbs, but you don't do the board breadcrumb, or the other way around, then you miss out on a quest basically.
I got no thoughts on that at all. I'll be honest with you.
Which I don't know. Like I haven't looked at the achievements in a while, but didn't the like each of the zone achievements for like the for the lore master quest, didn't that turn into like completing the different storylines, or is it just like X amount of quests per zone still? Because that's what it was in Wrath, like X amount of quests per zone.
Yeah, it is. Over. Yeah. Now in Cata, you have to complete X amount of quests per zone. Yeah. And there's enough, obviously, without breadcrumb quests to get every achievement. So,
at some point, they change it into like each zone has like little like different quest lines, or at least a different chapter of the zone quest line, sort of thing. And then it's like you get the zone achievement by doing each of those chapters or whatever.
Yeah, that
must have been a later expansion.
I'm pretty like that. That was I definitely remember that in WoD. Mainly for the WoD zones. I didn't remember him doing that actually in the old zones.
I remember in the old zones on like alts that I was leveling and stuff, but I can't remember what expansion that was in.
It's been a long time since I played WoD.
All right, on to the interviews. You ready, Scotty?
Yeah, do it, man.
You want to start with yours, or?
Well, just we ain't even got to even specifically talk about whose it was and where they came from. You know, just the information we took away from them.
Well, you alluded to this a little bit earlier, but I think we need to discuss it a little bit more. But before we do, Scotty, you might not know this, but I'm actually really good friends with one of your mods.
Oh man,
we're such good friends. We chat about random things here and there, even stuff like getting haircuts. And I got to tell you, Stark's new hair, the Dark Moon Fair. Scotty, tell us about the Dark Moon Fair and how it's changed and how that's going to affect us in phase 1 of Cataclysm Classic.
Please tell me this stream's crashed. I've never wanted the stream to crash more than I do right now.
It crashed in preparation for that. Like, that's why 5 minutes ago it's like, oh shit, it's coming.
Dark Moon Fair. Oh mate, I don't even.
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
I don't even want to talk to you anymore. I'll be honest with you.
That was like being strapped to train tracks, watching a train bearing down.
Yeah. Okay. You want to know about? So Dark Moon Fair has been brought forward. Obviously the main reason for it is trinkets. I can't focus anymore. You've just the main reason for it is the Dark Moon Fair trinkets. Obviously, things like Dark Moon Carved Volcano for casters is absolutely huge. So being able to actually go into progression straight away with them is massive.
Dude, Ghost still losing it.
I know, and that's why I can't look up.
Stop.
Yeah, and I can't look up because I know he's being a knob. Do you just want a minute?
So it's Volcano.
Like,
What are the other ones that are even like worth talking about? Like Volcano, obviously, like you could just read the text on Volcano, you know it's good. But like, what about the other ones?
yeah, I mean, Hurricane's decent. You know, it's not amazing, but Hurricane is like I'd use Hurricane. You know, going straight into the raid. It's just well, especially if I weren't alchemy. Again, it's just okay. Outside, Tsunami is amazing for healers. Yeah, Tsunami is big for healers as well. And that's it. Really, Tsunami and Volcano are the two that people should be bothered about. I personally won't be going into the raid with Hurricane, but if I can get one made cheap, or we just, you know, we're making them ourselves anyway, you know, we're funneling all herbs into the same guild bank, and if I can just pick the strength one up just to tide me over till I'm exalted with, you know, with Tol Barad.
Yeah, Hurricane to me seems like a good one to swap in, like for trash. Like if you're doing like a lot of AoE stuff, because like the crucial thing on there is it's to strike your enemies, like it's pluralized. So when it procs, it'll hit everything, right?
Yeah.
So that seems like a good one to have for just for if nothing else, just for trash or any sort of AoE situation. Like it seems like that would be a decent one to have for that. But like, you know, who knows how expensive it's going to be? It might not be worth it. Like depending on how much it costs.
Yeah. As I say, I would use it to tide me over. I've been using it on the beta. You know, literally, I've been using. I've been using it like going for worst case scenario, because that was sort of the whole point. So for those who don't know, like once we get to talking about the actual beta raids and difficulty, we said, like, you know, we're not going and doing heroic bosses in full 359 gear from the vendor. We tried to be realistic and be like, what's our gear really going to look like? You know, so it was mostly 346, some crafted bits. You know, so we got a real idea of how difficult the bosses are going to be, rather than just getting fully stacked in tier 11 gear and then, you know, and then face rolling it and going, oh my god, this is too easy. But yeah, really, Volcano and Tsunami are the big ones. But yeah, Hurricane is, I mean, people are saying it's good for Enhancement Shaman. So, you know, there may be some classes that benefit from it more than I'm giving it justice for, but for me personally, it will just be a nice filler trinket if I can get one.
So the thing about this was, I guess they just moved it up a week or two. So it's going to be, what, 5 weeks until we get the next one. So the next Dark Moon Fair is going to be July 7th through July 13th.
Have they moved it forward, or is the next one still going? No, because the next one is still the. Oh no, that's the 26th. Yeah, I mean that's kind of going to suck if that's the case, because that is a really long time without one.
Yeah.
Because that's not giving you a lot of time really to level up, get herbing, all of that. You know what I mean? It's like that. It's not a lot of time to get the trinkets. Not especially if you're just trying to do it on your own. Yeah, they could do with chucking an extra one in like mid-June. Something like that
or
as
like,
well.
I don't see why it has to be like a monthly thing. Like they changed it on SOD, and I think that was a great change, and they could have even expanded on it being available in one zone every single week. But for Cata, just leave the island open, leave the NPCs open. Like what's that going to hurt? Is there anybody complaining like, no, dude, it needs to be only once a month? Is there anybody that really is going to have that take? And that's fine if you do, but
I don't know, some of the stuff at DMF is fun to just go do. Like sometimes you just are in the mood to like do some of those little fucking dailies and shit, those little quest lines. You know, hop in the cannon, see if you can do the cannon thing. You know, like that's fun. Like it kind of sucks to be like, oh, I feel like doing that. Oh, I can't for another 3 weeks. Like cool, and then 3 weeks rolls around, you don't feel like doing it. Like,
yeah, I don't
see what the
really
issue would be with it just being on all the time.
Yeah, I can't think of a negative. Yeah, why not just have it open all the time? Or at least, like, I don't know, bi-weekly. You know, if you do for some reason not want it there all the time, just have it like every other week. But there are some other good things about Darkmoon Faire being there early, especially with like fishing. So fishing in at Darkmoon Island is like literally one of the best places to fish. It's very, very, very good. Just go and look at the stuff that you can get out of the crates at Darkmoon Faire, like on Darkmoon Island. It's a good way to get materials that you wouldn't ordinarily be able to get, you know, assuming that you haven't got loads of farmers all already leveled up and shit. But so that could be interesting as well.
One thing I don't remember, but I don't remember what loot it drops, but did the rabbit come in the Darkmoon Faire too? Like the world boss? Was that in Cata? Like would that drop important loot? So maybe that shouldn't be there all the time because
Wasn't that Lunar Festival?
That?
Well, I'm sure that wasn't that a world event where that was then there or something. I'm sure there was a boss on Darkmoon Island, but weren't that a world event when there was a boss there?
Yeah, I can't remember. I thought it was like whenever the fair was active.
I can't remember. Like, yeah, I honestly can't remember. I'd need to look it up.
Well, that the segue for the Darkmoon Faire was because of your interview, Scotty, because you asked them and they answered, and then they were like, "Yeah, it should be in the notes tomorrow or something like that." And like there was a blue post and everything like that. You can see in game now. It's updated for your calendar. So if you have any questions of when the Darkmoon Faire is going to be active, you can hop on and see when it's going to be there. But anything else from your interview? I know we're kind of just going to hop around from each of them, or like, what did you want to talk about next?
Well, I think like the biggest things for me that came out. Well, I mean, if we start with the cadence, I think even though it was only a brief conversation about it, I think the fact that like everyone's stressing and really fixating on the fact that, oh my god, like, you know, Cata's going to be so fast, like they're rushing through it, when they've actually now confirmed that no, that cadence that they've set is the fastest that it would possibly go. That's not necessarily how fast it's gonna go, but you know, if everyone was to burn through the content or they started seeing drop-offs or whatever, then they'll move on to the next phase. But if everyone's enjoying it and they're still enjoying the content, they're not going to rush through it just for the sake of it. Like for me, that's a big one. What are your thoughts on that?
But, like, how are they going to know? How are they going to be able to respond to the player feedback? Is it going to be too late by the time they're like, oh yeah, the next phase is coming, and then it's like, well, wait, we wanted more time, and it's like, oh well, sorry, it's coming next week. That's what I took away from it. Was it like, how is that going to work? I don't know how they're going to be able to adjust to feedback of the phase being too short or too long.
They probably have like their own internal metrics to see like what engagement's like. Like if they notice like a significant drop off, like people are like not doing the raids anymore or something like that, then like, you know, that could be an indicator of when people are ready for the next thing, I guess. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, to me, that's what it sounded like. And they wanted to make it seem like they wanted feedback on how long phases are taking. But to me, it seemed like they would look at their internal metrics more so than respond to actual player feedback.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll know. You know, if the content is still alive for 85% of the guilds, you know, and you only got like that top 15% that's actually clearing the content, then there's clearly there's more legs in that phase, isn't there? Like, I would imagine that would be a part of it. You know, where they're not going to go like, oh, you know, we said that. I've not got the thing in front of me where it shows you exactly what the dates were. But, you know, it's not going to get to where Phase 2 is meant to launch and they're going to just go, yep, it's coming. You know, I think they'd base a lot of it around how active the raiding scene still is in Tier 11, you know, for example. And obviously you expect a drop-off anyway. There's going to be guilds that just, like, I don't know, go in and clear normal and then all quit and never even play the game again. You know, that happens with, like, every expansion. So, yeah, I don't know. I genuinely, none of us actually know what their thoughts around it will be. But I don't think anyone should be surprised if we do actually get